A casual hoodie, a luxury showroom, and one jaw-dropping reveal. What happens when a car dealership manager misjudges the man who secretly owns it all? Daryl pulled into the parking lot of Prestige Motors, the flagship dealership he had recently bought in sunny Scottsdale, Arizona. The desert heat shimmered across the gleaming cars parked out front, their polished finishes glowing under the afternoon sun. He parked his modest SUV in an unmarked space near the back and stepped out. For a moment, he simply looked at the dealership's glass facade, taking it all in. He wasn't dressed for attention, quite the opposite. A simple gray hoodie, slightly faded jeans, and sneakers were his outfit for the day. His choice was deliberate. He wanted to see the dealership's true colors, to experience how it operated when no one realized the new boss was standing right in front of them. As he approached the entrance, he noticed a small group of employees inside chatting near the reception desk. The faint sound of laughter and casual conversation drifted through the glass doors. Daryl opened the door and walked inside. The air-conditioned showroom was a complete contrast to the blazing heat outside. The faint scent of leather and fresh wax filled the space. Rows of luxury cars shone beneath bright overhead lights, their surfaces mirror smooth. The chatter quieted almost instantly as he stepped in. Daryl caught the brief glances shared between the employees. Their eyes flicked to his hoodie and sneakers. He could feel the subtle shift in the air, the kind that said more than words ever could. But he wasn't here to jump to conclusions. He was here to observe. Then, from across the showroom, she appeared, Susan. Susan was a middle-aged woman with sharp features and an even sharper presence. Her fitted blazer and polished heels announced authority. A clipboard tucked neatly under her arm gave her an aura of precision and control. She walked toward him with purpose, the echo of her heels clicking against the spotless floor. At first, her expression was polite, but there was a stiffness behind her smile that didn't escape Daryl's attention. "Excuse me," she began, her voice calm but cool. "Can I help you with something?" Daryl smiled, his manner easy. "Just here to look around," he said casually, gesturing toward the cars. Susan's eyes narrowed slightly as she scanned him from head to toe. The polite mask slipped just a little, replaced by something faintly dismissive. "Are you shopping for a car?" she asked. Her tone carried an edge of skepticism. I nodded, still smiling. "Something like that." Susan's lips pressed together. "Well, we cater to a very specific clientele here. Most of our inventory requires pre-qualification. Perhaps I could recommend—" Before she could finish, another employee called from across the room. "Hey, Susan, the delivery guy's here." Her attention flickered for a moment, then returned quickly to Daryl, as if to make sure he didn't wander off. "You're assuming I'm not qualified?" Daryl asked, raising an eyebrow. Her expression tightened. "I'm just trying to save you some time," she replied, forcing another polite smile. "These vehicles start at 6 figures. Maybe I can direct you—" Before she could, Daryl's calm never wavered, but inwardly he noted her words. Her assumptions were loud enough to echo. The moment stretched between them, tense but silent. He turned his gaze to a nearby car, a silver coupe with an aggressive design. His fingertips brushed the door handle. "Nice car," he said quietly. "It is," she replied. "Perhaps when you're ready to make a serious inquiry, we can set up an appointment. For now, I'll have to ask you not to touch the vehicles." Daryl stepped back slightly, his hands in his pockets. "All right, let's hear it. What would you recommend for someone like me?" Susan blinked, caught off guard by his tone. Before she could recover, he added, "If you think you know what I need, I'm listening." Her polite composure faltered just long enough to reveal impatience. "Maybe something more within reach. I can give you directions to a dealership that sells pre-owned cars." Daryl's smile didn't fade, though it no longer reached his eyes. He'd seen enough. "That's quite the assumption," he said softly. The words lingered, and Susan's confidence flickered. She straightened her back quickly. "I'll be back with a few options," she said briskly, and walked away. Daryl watched her go. His expression was unreadable. He turned back to the silver coupe, its glossy finish reflecting his calm face. This was going to be an interesting day. He stood at the center of the room, observing everything: the chatter, the glances, the silent judgment. It wasn't new to him. Susan returned shortly, clutching her clipboard like a shield. Her stride was brisk, her smile stretched thin. "All right, I've compiled a few options that might be more suitable for your situation." "My situation?" Daryl repeated quietly. "Yes," she replied, tone clipped. She handed him a printout listing several pre-owned models, older, lower priced, and far from the dealership's usual showcase. "These are reliable and practical," she said. Daryl scanned the list: an old sedan, an SUV, a compact hybrid. His lips twitched faintly, but he folded the paper and tucked it into his pocket. "Appreciate the effort," he said evenly. Susan hesitated, momentarily thrown by his calm. Then she leaned closer, lowering her voice. "I'm just being realistic with you. Prestige Motors isn't for everyone. I don't want to waste your time." Daryl looked at her steadily. "And what exactly makes you think I'm not your target customer?" She hesitated, only for a second. "I've been doing this for a long time," she said. "I can tell when someone's out of their depth." "Out of their depth," Daryl echoed thoughtfully. "Interesting." She held his gaze, uncertain but trying to maintain control. "It's better to be upfront than have someone leave disappointed," she added. Daryl chuckled softly. "Honest, I like that." Paused. "How about this? You let me speak to the owner. Think you can make that happen?" Her eyebrows shot up. "The owner?" "That's right," he said lightly. "I'd like a word." Her smile stiffened. "That's not possible today. The owner doesn't just drop in for casual visits. They're very busy." "I'm sure they are, but maybe you could give them a call. Let them know I'm here. I think they'd want to meet me." Susan's patience cracked. "Look, sir," she said tightly, "I'm trying to be polite, but this is getting ridiculous. If you're not serious about buying a car, I'll have to ask you to leave." Daryl's expression didn't change, though his tone took on a subtle edge. "Otherwise, what?" Her jaw clenched. "Otherwise, I'll have to ask you to leave." The room seemed to freeze. Daryl reached into his pocket and pulled out his phone. "All right," he said, scrolling through his contacts. "I'll make the call myself." Susan blinked. "What are you doing?" "I'm calling the owner," he said, pressing the phone to his ear. "Shouldn't take long." He ended the call and slipped the phone into his pocket. "They'll be here shortly," he said calmly. Susan's face went pale. Who did you just call?" Daryl didn't answer. "Guess we'll find out," he said. Moments later, the glass doors opened. A sharply dressed man in a navy suit stepped in, scanning the room before spotting Daryl. "Mr. Carter," he said warmly, striding forward with an outstretched hand. "Thanks for coming, Alex. Appreciate it." The entire showroom went silent. Susan's clipboard nearly slipped from her hands. Her eyes darted between them, between Daryl and Alex, the regional director. "Wait, Mr. Carter?" she stammered. Alex turned to her. "Susan," he said curtly, "I see you've already met Mr. Carter. He's the new owner of this dealership." She mouth fell open. I didn't realize." "You didn't realize," Alex interrupted. Daryl raised a hand gently. "It's all right, Alex. I think Susan and I just got off on the wrong foot." His tone was calm, but every word carried weight. Susan's face turned pale. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. "I didn't know." You didn't know what? Darrell asked softly. That I could own a place like this? That someone like me might belong here? Her lips parted, but no words came. It's fine, Darrell said. But tell me, if I hadn't been the owner, would you have treated me differently? The silence that followed was deafening. Darrell nodded. That's what I thought. He turned to Alex. Let's gather everyone in the conference room. We need to talk. The staff assembled quickly. The sleek glass room that usually felt impressive now felt heavy with tension. Susan sat near the back, eyes down. Darrell stood at the head of the table. Thank you all for coming, he began. For those who don't know me, I'm Darrell Carter, the new owner of Prestige.